Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Oh, the Phillies desperately needed that win. 9-6. They salvaged the series against the Rockies, and it was a damn good baseball game. Your offense woke the hell up. Camargo gives you 4 hits. He hits a bomb. And that 7th inning, the entire team exploded. Kyle Schwarber puts one to the third deck. 468 feet. It doesn't even make sense. As soon as it was clubbed, you were like, damn, holy shit. On top of that, you went through the perfect game of an Alec Bohm experience. You had the things that frustrated you early on in the second inning, and then he put it behind him. He hit a home run of his own. He continues to hit, and that's what you get out of Alec Bohm. Things that make you want to rip your damn hair out, but then it's countered by charging a ground ball bare hand and makes a play at first base where you go, where did that come from? How the hell did that happen? But let's not forget about how the hell do you run to first base and then just not even touch first base at all? That can't happen at the major league level. We're not 6 years old anymore. But if you look at the positives today, it clearly outweighs the negative. It's just always going to be something with Bohm. I do have to give him credit, though, because when you don't play a lot due to being off the field and your deficiencies keeping Joe Girardi from putting you on the diamond, you get your number called, whether it's pinch hitting or whether it's like you saw in this Rocky series. He did deliver more than he did not deliver, and I do have to acknowledge that, even though there's something in my gut that just tells me there's something missing with Alec Bohm. You could talk about his OPS. You could talk about his ability to hit right now, and he's definitely hot. But out of the Alec Bohm experience, and I was talking to someone who covers the team and is, involved with covering the team, it wouldn't be surprised if Double D, Dave Dombrowski, is just allowing Alec Bohm to get as hot as humanly possible. And in the back of his mind, he's not afraid to eventually make a trade and grab somebody else. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it's an automatic that that's going to happen. It's just a thought and a possibility that if there is anyone to ever go at some point while you think of making trades to improve elsewhere. It's a very difficult spot right now with this DH and with Kyle Schwarber and with Nick Castellanos and now with Bryce Harper and his situation. Unfortunately for Harper, he hit a couple good ones today. It just went directly at center field. There was some good barreling up and, really driving the baseball. Barreling. I don't know why it sounded the way that it did. At least in my head, it sounded funny. But he was barreling the ball up pretty well. It just was unfortunate. It didn't land in an area where he could get on base. But ultimately, this team needed to respond today in a big way, and I felt the sense of urgency. When JT Realmuto somewhat has a scheduled day off just a little bit ago, when they talked about this game on Wednesday, JT, game on Wednesday, you don't really know what's going to happen, off day on Thursday, you kind of get them off his feet a little bit. Well, no, you got to win a damn baseball game. And they kept him in there with Zach Eflin on the bump. So that just tells me the mindset of this game was a little bit more of a kick in the ass. And maybe the result is somewhat of a description of that because you saw a team that played so much better. And when I saw them go up and then lose the lead, it's deflating. Then they battle, and it's like, all right, they're in there. It's not over yet. When that 7th inning happened where Rhys Hoskins walked, Bryce Harper got a blooper, and Castellanos singled. And by the way, his home run to deep center field was just magnificent. Castellanos is just really, when he gets going and he's in a mode in a game, it's great the way that he delivers and smacks the baseball around the diamond. But you had 3 guys on, 0 outs. JT Realmuto ended up striking out in 3 pitches, which was an unsettling feeling. But Kyle Schwarber, lefty, they go to the pen. He ends up getting hit. He ends up getting hit in his jersey as he's backing away from the pitch, which walked in a run. I don't care how. Just do it, damn it. Alec Bohm gets a sacrifice fly to center field. That gets you another run. And then Camargo, boom, a shot to left field. a 3-run homer. He was my player of the game. He goes 4 for 5. He gets the 3 RBI in there. He hits the home run. And I'm just sick and tired of hearing that Joe Girardi's an idiot for playing Camargo. Why is he falling in love with players like Ronald Torreyes of last year? I hopped on the train of Ronald Torreyes last year and had some fun with it, played around with the joke a little bit that he's playing like a Hall of Famer, just having some fun. But you knew that there wasn't anything real in Ronald Torreyes. It was just a nice run for toe. Camargo can actually play more than Torreyes. Camargo against lefties has a career 836 OPS against left-handed pitching. Against righties, 699 OPS, hitting 247. But he's got a career batting average 286 against left-handed hitting. I'm not telling you he's magnificent. I'm not telling you he's everyday, no doubt about it starter. It's not to that level. All right, obviously there's a tier of guys that are more like role players, and then there's guys that are a little bit more than role players, but maybe not an everyday player, and he's like a really good utility guy. I think Camargo's a really good utility guy. The problem is, and why you have to play him so damn much, is because you are that bad defensively around your diamond that you have a stud. You have a stud glove. He's a good glove. Say what you want about maybe what he will be over the long haul, and it's not going to be 4 hits a game. It's not going to be this electric. But when he makes a play in the field defensively, it's legit. It's no joke. It's serious. He's got an actual glove that can make steady plays for you consistently. And I have to acknowledge that when you think about the fact that this team doesn't have that around the diamond, and you could play him in so many different areas along the infield. So please, with this, he's just Ronald Torreyes. No, you can't just put everyone in the same category who's a utility guy. It doesn't mean they don't get overexposed when they play a ton. But just because you're a utility guy, there's different tiers of utility. And I think Camargo could play. I'm not claiming he's elite. I'm not claiming he's amazing. I'm not claiming he's the best. But I think he deserves more respect than what the crowd that hates Joe Girardi and is just pissed off at every decision he makes is saying about Camargo when he plays. He's had some game-changing defensive moments, too, may I add, in the short start of the season. So, look, they get a rest day on Thursday. You see what that means for a little bit of a breather before they start a set at home over the weekend. And I can't wait to see if there's any momentum built based off the way that they were swinging the bats today. But the ball was carrying. Now, sometimes that happens in Colorado. You got yourself a day game. You saw it earlier this series with Schwarber when he barely swung. He basically just threw his hands at it, flicked the wrist, and it went opposite field earlier in the series. That's what happens in that ballpark, but you just at least feel good that you see the ball being driven the way that it was, and Schwarber's waking up. You're seeing the long ball. You're seeing his ability to drive in runs, and on top of that, just square it up nicely. I like where he's at in the lineup here. The problem is I don't know what that means for the leadoff spot. And all offseason long after the acquisition, I thought, okay, you got yourself that leadoff guy. But I just think that area of the lineup gets scary if you're on the other side, if you're on the mound. When you think about that, I'm not going to say the back end of the lineup. But once you get to, really, Rhys Hoskins, Harper, Castellanos, Real Muto, Schwarber, Bohm, I like this setup. I'm feeling this setup. Now, I don't know necessarily if I would have thought I would like this as much as I do when we first started the season, but I think that there's something to this. You need to figure out the leadoff spot, though. Jean Segura goes 1 for 5 today. Yesterday, it wasn't like he was sharp there. So it just seems whoever you plug in, whether it's Schwarber, whether it was JT, whether it's Jean Segura, they're just not finding their groove. I'm willing to give Jean Segura some more time there. Maybe that is your best hope, but I like the idea of it because it's so damn deep. Now, I am a little mad at Rhys Hoskins because in the first inning, Jean Segura leads off with that leadoff double. And Rhys Hoskins, for strike 2 and strike 3, take these pitches right over the heart of the plate. That's so damn simple to drive to Mars. I mean, really, that ball should have been crushed into a different planet, and he's just watching, and he froze. He wasn't even swinging. And then my guess is, or my thought is, what are you sitting there waiting for? Right? Like, obviously, your mind is jumbled, and you didn't pull the trigger on the swing because you were anticipating something else. But in this league, when guys leave pitches right over the heart of the plate, you got to adjust mid-throw. And I'm not sitting here to tell you that this is the most easiest and simplest task to ever do. There's a reason why this sport is so damn difficult. But Rhys, you're a home run hitter, and you have to let it fly, dude. That could have been a 2-0 lead early on. Instead, in the bottom half of the frame, I'm watching the Colorado Rockies do the opposite and that score 2 runs. That was disappointing. I wonder, is there something to be said about hitting second, and that changes his mindset a bit about his approach at the plate? Or I don't know, but Rhys Hoskins, the one that can kill pitches over the wall, those were 2 that I thought, specifically the strikeout pitch. Come on, man. Come on, Rhys. I mean, that's bread and butter. Everyone and their mother foams out their mouth thinking about that pitch when you get into the box. You have nightmares about that pitch when you miss it. I mean, you beg. You get on your hands and knees and beg the opposing pitcher, give me one of those pitches over the heart. Please, please, please. You got it. And he just shied away from the moment there. Disappointing for sure. I just expect way more out of Rhys, knowing that normally his eyes light up, and Camargo did it, and Kyle Schwarber did it. That's what major league hitters do. And I'm not saying Rhys Hoskins isn't one, but he's in that category of guys that can demolish. So when you see that, there's a rakeable pitch. I anticipate seeing Rhys do exactly what Kyle Schwarber did. But you're talking about 0-2 counts. You're talking about 0-1 counts. Now, Marquez, I mean, there were a lot of hittable pitches that, whether they were flat or it was just a bad pitch in other ways, like bad location. Come on. Come on. I feel like I'm having all these memories pop up in years past where there's pitches that they can do way more with, that they fail back, or they swing through, or they just watch, go right by them apparently. Irks me. Definitely irks me. But all around, this team obviously did a great job today at winning a game that was needed. You think about that Alec Bohm home run, though, and there was something that happened so important prior to that previously, and that's Kyle Schwarber. The way that he professionally worked the walk, you know, that can't go unnoticed for the Alec Bohm bomb that he hit. Like, those are the little details that I talk about, grinding at-bats and putting pitchers in uncomfortable positions and forcing them to throw more pitches. And a lot of these guys, the more pitches they throw, think about how many. And Ricky Bo mentioned this to me when I had him on the Fanatic about 2 weekends ago or so. I talked about this offensive lineup and what they could be doing, you know, if they reach their max capability. And he brought up, think about how many pitches a starting pitcher throws. Let's say 90 pitches. Obviously, right now it's a hot topic that not as many pitchers as you would think would go into the 100s, but we understand why that some of these guys look a little bit different, whether it's Zach Wheeler, it's Zach Eflin, or anybody else because of the way the spring training was handled. But I digress. When you get to 90 pitches, think about how many mistakes are thrown with 90 pitches. If you just look at the percentages and the history of baseball, you throw 90 pitches, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. What can you do with those mistakes? Well, grind at bats, make them throw more pitches, and the more pitches they throw, the more mistakes that can occur. And then before you know it, we're looking up at the third deck at Coors Field. So I just have to point out that it wasn't just what he did with the long ball, but it was also working a great walk, too, that eventually ended up resulting in a run with the way that your lineup is as deep as it is. With pitching, Eflin, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 0 walk batters in 86 pitches. I saw some nice things and I saw some bad things. Fifth inning specifically, it got a little ugly. I saw pitches up at the top of the zone. That's when they started, you know, putting the ball into the outfield. You talk about double. You talk about scoring some runs. You know, that didn't feel great. But then I saw nasty off-speed pitches, and I saw some good things, too. It was just a combination of a little bit of both. That's what I saw out of Eflin, and I feel that's sort of what Zach Eflin is, right? When he's really on, he's really on. Don't get me wrong. When he's locked in, he's a dangerous weapon, no doubt about it. But for the most part, you get a lot of positives, and you get some negatives thrown in there too, and that's sort of what Zach Eflin is. Your bullpen, Familia, he's in a downward spiral, but Alvarado and Knebel got the save, and that was nice to see those two after the bottom half of that seventh inning. Look, the Phillies did good the top half of the seventh, the bottom half of the seventh, some more runs were scored. Double. No, please stop. Brad Hand. How about Brad Hand and that pitch to Blackmon? That off-speed pitch, that was beautiful. Beautiful swing and a miss. The drop on it was insane. What else did I want to say about the bullpen right there? Oh, Crone. Made me think about Crone. Oof. He is killing you this series. No doubt about it. All right, let's go to the phones. 856-442-9805. 856-442-9805. Let's go to Sean. What's up, Sean?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter. I just came in from work. Did I hear the Phillies actually won today?
That is correct. They won.
The Phillies?
They smacked the baseball around the diamond. You had the long ball. You got the job accomplished today to salvage the series.
Oh, my God. Let me grab a seat. Hold on. I'm overcome with emotion. Well, first off, I got to throw it in real quick. Go Sixers. Let's get a win tonight. Hopefully wrap that up in 4, maybe 5.
Definitely.
But as for the Phillies, look, I know it's early in the year, but if they manage to turn it around at some point this year, look back on this game. At least you salvage something out of the road trip. You feel a little bit better that you were able to get a win, and you're starting to see some guys come out of slumps. Now, it'll be interesting on Friday to see if they can carry that over into the home stand against the Brewers. At this point, if I were the guys, I wouldn't even be looking at the standings. You just got to string wins together. You got to get on a 4 to 5 to 6 game win streak and start playing ball the way you're capable of playing it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's kind of what they do. It's so damn early. It's April. I doubt they're studying to that level. You might peek here and there, and I mentioned this in a previous show, I'm not worried about what the Mets are doing, the Braves are doing, and it's not like the Braves are just off to a hot start either. But there's a lot of Phillies fans right now worried about what the Mets are doing. And look, the Mets are the Mets. Let's talk about the Mets in August and see where they're at. But right now, it's irrelevant how other teams are performing until the Phillies can figure it the hell out. And hopefully this is a step in the right direction. There's plenty of things to be irritated about, and there's plenty of things to be optimistic about. I'm curious on your thoughts here, though, Sean. I'm very uncomfortable with Alec Bohm, and we could talk about how well he is at the plate, and don't get me wrong, he is definitely doing a good job at the plate, but all around, I can't forget, I watch a lot of baseball. I never see anyone have the just horrendous worst mistakes that he gets thrown in there more than anyone else, and they're just so fundamentally flawed that I just can't get over that part of it. How do you feel about Bohm?
Well, I'll just go to the team as a whole first. I'm uncomfortable with the way that they're put together. I think you have a bunch of good pieces, but I don't know if collectively they fit. I think you have a bunch of designated hitters accumulated into one roster. Alec Bohm can hit. We know this. Maybe the power needs to be on more of an uptick, but he can hit the ball. But where are you going to play this kid? Eventually, you're going to have to make decisions. To me, the only place you could try playing Alec Bohm is at first base. Try him out there. If he makes it, then what do you do with Rhys Hoskins? I just think it was dangerous coming into this year to say, we know that our pitching is average. We know that our defense blows goats. But we're going to score enough runs that we're going to overcome those blemishes and that's what we're going to use to win.
Well, you know what, Sean, and I appreciate your call, and I'm with you with the philosophy. And the problem is the philosophy was built this way because of how bad Matt Klentak left it. And we know Dave Dombrowski has utilized this method in the past in Detroit, but he's also won in Boston in different ways. He knows how to operate baseball based off of what's in front of him. And the reason why they went down this path is because this is where the last regime let him kind of take over, and that's kind of where you're at. So based off of where he was when he was put into power, this is what brought him here. Now, with Bohm over at first and what do you do with Reese and a DH and all this, like, I'm not moving Reese Hoskins to stay with Alec Bohm. Like, I'd rather stay with Reese Hoskins and get rid of Alec Bohm, and that's saying a lot for someone last year who was willing to trade Reese Hoskins for some sort of good player, and that's, or prospects at the time when we needed to rebuild our whole system. But now things are different because of the signings that you made, so I'm totally in a different thought process at the moment. But don't tell me that we're going to now, and obviously we're talking in the hypothetical world, but you're bringing in an Alec Bohm to play first, and now you got to think about moving Reese. See, while Bohm is playing well offensively, Schwarber, Castellanos, those guys are basically a DH. Like, you're losing defense. Sometimes these balls get hit the right field, and I wonder if Bryce Harper's playing, are they caught? Not that Bryce Harper's even some game-changing defensive type of guy. He's actually, well, he there was a time where it was knocked with his defense, and then I think it's better than people gave him credit for, but still, it's not anything overpowering or overwhelming in a positive direction. But when I watch Castellanos out there, I'm wondering, like, does Bryce get to that ball? Is it different if he's playing there? What's the case when that is? And, like, I just don't want to force Bohm just because of where he's at. Like, this is a problem with him, and I don't hate him. I know that I talk negative on him. I put up a Twitter clip today when the issue happened where he missed first base. I don't know baseball players that throw Gene Segura off second base by 5 feet. That every time a ball is thrown to first base, it seems like Reese Hoskins has to extend about 7 feet up in the air to make the play, where you run into the tarp. Like, these problems just don't happen to other players to the level that they happen to Bohm. And you could say, well, he's only 25. He's so young. He's still working on some things, and he has to kind of adapt. And look, there's two ways to go with failure. You either fall flat on your face, you feel sorry for yourself, or you go out there and do the best that you can. And I'm going to acknowledge that he's doing the best that he can, and I want him to succeed because that means the Phillies are in a better position. But, you know, there's just so many little details to this game that is shooting himself in the foot over and over and over again that I don't see around baseball at all. Like, at all. I don't see the issues that Bohm has to the same level of all these other players. It's wild how painfully disturbing the flaws are of Alec Bohm. And my question becomes, you know, is this really him at the plate? Is this what he is over the long haul? Or is this just a hot stretch, and then at some point you see a little bit of, you know, what we saw last season? Because if that's the case, then obviously he's unplayable. But I feel he's missing something, and the overwhelming love for Alec Bohm, where it's like it's almost like we're split. You're split as Phillies fans. There's the people that despise him and hate him. There's the people that love him and give him too much praise and then never give him the down conversations of, look here, all right, you have to change. Things need to happen. It's either like, I love you to death or I hate him. And I lean towards not liking his play more than liking his play. But now it's like we're in that controversy mode of whenever things happen, there's this internal battle between both sides of the fan base. Same thing happens with Jalen Hurts. Same thing happens with Ben Simmons. Same thing happens with Carson Wentz. So it's not new. It's a way of life here in Philadelphia. But Alec Bohm is that style of controversial player. And deep down, I'm rooting for the kid, and I want him to succeed because I care about the Phillies doing well. I'll be wrong with an opinion any day of the week. I'll favor being wrong about something about a player any day if that means that the team goes out there and win. There's a reason why we started Flip Broads the Double Bird, and Alec Bohm could be that example. Last year it was Reese Hoskins. This year it could be Alec Bohm. I'm okay with being wrong if it benefits my baseball team that I support. But deep down, I think Dave Dombrowski has a long-term plan with Alec Bohm, and the long-term plan really relates to a trade down the line. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but it just doesn't fit based off of how the team is built as a whole. All right, let's go to Amadeo. What's up, Amadeo?
Now, yes, I am very critical of Alec Bohm, but I think I'm going to disagree with you on that point. I am more critical about Rhys Hoskins because the at-bats that he had today just pissed me the hell off, especially that first inning.
Yeah, the first inning with Rhys Hoskins bothered me. I referenced that a little earlier on how he just let pitches go right by him. But, I mean, I do feel at the same time that I've seen a lot of great things out of Rhys Hoskins where I know that the positives outweigh the negatives with him. I don't know if I necessarily believe that fully with Alec Bohm. Right now, that's the case, but I don't know if there's a big enough sample size to fully commit to that with Bohm. But with Rhys, I can fully commit to that.
That's just one of the things because I think it's when you're constantly flipping Rhys up and down the lineup, he constantly changes his approach because when you put him down in that 5-hole, maybe the cleanup spot, okay, he's looking to drive the ball, but the at-bats that he had today, in that, like, yes, he had the triple yesterday and he drove the ball, but just leaving like those two hangers right over the middle of the plate, you've got to crush those. Like you said earlier, you got to send those 500 feet into the stands where the ball's not going to be seen forever.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't disagree, but I think that's. I feel maybe you're being, and I've reamed him for that scenario, but I think you're letting it bleed into too much with Rhys. I mean, look, he's gotten 4 RBIs this year. He's got 9 hits. He's walked 9 times, only 1 homer, and I think that'll change as he gets hot. But he's hitting 243 at the moment. I'm not jumping up and down for joy with Rhys, but I mean, if I want to target guys to be disappointed with, I could look in a lot of other directions.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely look at that scenario too. But I think right now, just because, like you said, I am very critical of Alec Bohm, just because, yes, he does make those like weird mistakes that a player shouldn't make. But I'm also high on him just because of what he can do with the bat and what he can grow into. And I know you said you'd rather trade an Alec Bohm, possibly in a trade if Dave does that. I think keeping Bohm might be your best possible situation just because I do believe his bat does grow over time. And I'd rather trade Rhys. That's just my personal opinion. I don't hate Rhys whatsoever. I just think maybe over the time, I still prefer to trade Rhys Hoskins, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with you at this very moment in time. I'm not saying I could ever change my thought. But yeah, no, I just like Alec Bohm is you can't win with him playing every day in the field. And the way that this team is built, you can't DH him because now you're taking off basically a Schwarber or a Nick Castellanos, which would never happen. And then you see if Bryce needs a day off, he slides in there. Like, there's just nowhere for him to play. And even over at first, like, I know Rhys could be a disaster over at first, but I'm not even willing to say that I would ever feel that comfortable. But I just don't think he could play in the field. I don't think that he's a playable field. He is your old-fashioned DH who never touches the diamond. That's really what he is. And on this team, I don't think that it's a fit. So, I mean, look, I don't want to sit here today after a win where the kid ends up hitting a homer and has some RBI and makes a couple good plays where he challenges the ball, barehands it, makes a play. There was another sequence, 7th inning. He gets the ball, he makes a routine play, looks at second, doesn't go to second, instead throws it to first, makes a play over at first. He then learned from previous mistakes where he threw the ball away during that homestand to start the season. He did not do that, and he held on to the ball and stayed with it instead of throwing it away and just ate it. That was smart. That's learning. They keep talking about how much work he's putting in the field and believing that over time it will show. Just like Tyrese Maxey. Over time, his worth will show based off of, when the light shines on you and the lights are on, it's super bright. And now you're seeing all the work that Maxey has put in during the dark times. When I say the dark times, I mean when nobody's watching. All right, well, that'll eventually happen with Alec Bohm. That's their thought. I don't want to sit here today and talk about how, he's got to go, this and that, but I don't know. There's something missing. I don't hide my feelings. There's something missing. It looks like Nolan said that he left us a voicemail that he would like for us to play here. I will let Nolan's voicemail play right now on the Anytime Hotline.
What's going on, bro? Just want to say today was a great win for the Phillies today. They definitely needed that to hopefully carry some momentum going into this series on Friday at home against Milwaukee. And just want to say, let's go Sixers. Let's keep it going. Have a great night, man. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Nolan. Appreciate it. Yes, the Sixers are definitely about to get going here for Game 3 in Toronto, and I'm pumped for it. But all around, you mentioned rolling into the weekend. Yes, let's see what they do with an off day on Thursday, regroup, feel themselves a bit with this positivity, and see what this means for the game as they play Friday night. And Thursday's no game. Oh, it kind of sucks. I hate that, right? I want baseball every day. But at this point, I will desperately take it because I think they need as much of like a deep breath, if you will. When you're getting overwhelmed a little bit, you take a deep breath. That Thursday off day's the deep breath. Right back at it on Friday, and we'll see how it all goes. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all of your support. If you're looking to buy tickets to go to any event out there, you can utilize the SeatGeek promo code BROADS at checkout for $20 off. So that eliminates your fees. It eliminates all that fee right from the jump. It's parking. It's booze. However you want to utilize it. Promo code BROADS. And then lastly, you go to social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, @Broads Media. Hit the follow button there. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you